Welcome back. This is Christopher with Watch, Drive, and Roll. Wanted to do a real quick video on the Seiko SNKL41. I think this is a fantastic piece, great entry-level piece for anybody looking to get into automatic watches, or really just watches in general. A lot of people affectionately will refer to this as the baby Grand Seiko, just due to the striking resemblance to several of the Grand Seiko line of watches, which is Seiko's premium line. Usually you'll find watches in that line for about, anywhere from about $3,000 on up to $10,000, depending on the piece you're looking at. This is about $100 watch, so when they say baby Grand Seiko, they're a little tongue-in-cheek, but at the same time, that's quite a great praise for the fact that the level of finishing and the price you're paying for this watch, you're actually getting a pretty great value. As you can see, it is a wide dial watch. However, in certain lights, and I'll see if I can really get a good piece of the shine there, you can see, oh, come on, babe. There you go. You can see it has a little bit of pearlescence there, a little bit of silver pearlescence in the white dial. The case of this watch is stainless steel, and you can see from just where I'm angling it, it is high polish mostly all around. You really can't make me out, which is a good thing, but you can see there it's got high polish on the sides. You've got a little bit of a shoulder here, it's also high polish. You have a high polish bezel. On the top here of the lugs, it is a light brushing, so it's not going to totally blind you if light hits it, but I think this does catch it, does catch light quite well. This is a little bit of a smaller watch compared to a lot of things you're going to find when people are looking at smaller watches. That's actually more of a kind of a classic size. Watches back in the day were anywhere from 28 millimeters wide, or I'm saying in diameter, on up to 32, 35, 36. It's not until the recent decades that watches have really starting to trend higher than that. Luckily, they're starting to go a little bit back down. So if you were to purchase this piece, this isn't going to look too out of character for anybody who considers themselves a masculine person. But I think this is going to fit many wrists very well with the size that it has. I mean, heck, if you even look at like Muhammad Ali wore a Cartier tank. If you look at the size of a Cartier tank, it's smaller than this piece. Muhammad Ali was the greatest there ever was. So just kind of keep that in mind. If you're thinking of watches as small, again, I think this is going to be a very versatile piece. Speaking of the size, it is 37 millimeters in diameter. When people are measuring diameter, they're going to measure from about here to here. It is 42 millimeters lug to lug. So from the top of the lug to the bottom of the lug is about 42 millimeters, and then the actual lug width is 18 millimeters. 18 millimeters is great because there is a huge amount of straps out there that are 18 millimeters. So if you get tired of this bracelet, you can easily switch it out. It does not have solid end links, so if you have a spring bar tool, you can easily swap out this bracelet. If you're not comfortable doing that, you can go to a watchmaker, you can go to somebody at the mall to do it. But once you actually figure out how to swap out a bracelet, which is not hard, and there's tons of videos on YouTube on how to do that, you can easily swap the bracelet out and for a new brand, and basically you're sitting there with a new watch. Now this does have Hardlex crystal on it. Hardlex is Seiko's proprietary crystal. There is no anti-reflective coating, as you can see by the reflection from the LED lights on my light box here. I don't particularly think that's negative. This is about a $100 watch. You really can't expect to kind of have the luxury of like an anti-reflective coating. If you decide you wanted to get into watches, and if you decide you want to start modifying watches, you can buy aftermarket sapphire crystal, which is considered the more premium crystal out there that actually does have anti-reflective coating, and you will be able to install that. It's not too difficult to do that, but it is something you definitely want to do after a lot of research, practice on cheaper watches. because it's not something you can just step right into. You can pay somebody to modify the watch, but I wouldn't necessarily do that on a $90 piece. Now, as I mentioned, it does have hard lex on the top here. You do have hard lex as well on the exhibition case back. Exhibition case back is going to allow you to actually view the movement inside. And we're going to zoom in just a little bit there. I don't want to go in too far. I don't know how well this camera will do, but you can actually get a good view of the movement in there. And I apologize, it's graining just a little bit in my viewer, so we'll pull out. But you get a chance to see the Seiko marking. You get a chance to view the rotor, which shows that this is a 7S26C. So it's about a third generation of this particular movement. 7S26 is pretty much the standard Honda Civic movement you're going to find in Seiko watches. It is something they do kind of use in their, I don't want to say value range, but more entry level. It is an entry level automatic. This is one that it does use the rotor and the movement of the rotor to help wind the watch. So you can see as we move the watch around, the rotor does move. That whole piece right there, and the movement of that rotor is what winds the watch. There is no hand wind on this, so you can see the crown here is in. I can turn this crown all day. It's not going to do anything at all to wind the watch. I don't have a particular problem with that. Some people really don't like the fact you can't hand wind the watch. I think it's less of a fail point. If you haven't worn the watch for a few days and the power reserve or the barrel that does die, you can just shake the watch a little bit. They call it the Seiko shake. If you want to, just shake it a little bit, and it will move that rotor and it will wind the watch. Put it on your wrist for a little while, and there you go. You've got basically the watch is winding itself while it is on your wrist. So I think that's kind of interesting. This piece here does have a day and date function. This particular date wheel does come in English and Spanish. There are other date wheels for watches that are sold in other parts of the world that do have English and Arabic. I've seen English and kanji, so you'll have Japanese symbols here as opposed to English. I think there's other ones that have I think German, and I think there's even French out there, and maybe even more. I'm not even 100% sure on that, but it is kind of cool that this is date wheels, especially on this watch, like bilingual. So it adds a little versatility there. So now this is considered to be a sports watch. As you can see, it is a little bit dressy, but at the same time, I don't think it's too much of a stretch to consider this kind of an everyday piece. It's not overly dressy. It doesn't particularly look like jewelry or anything like that. I think this will be at home. If you're going to a nice dinner, I think it's going to be at home on your wrist. If you're going to a bar with your friends, going on a date, whichever you may be doing, I think this is going to be a fantastic piece to wear. It does come on this stainless steel bracelet. It's actually not a bad bracelet at all for the prices you're paying. Typically, when you've got lower price watches, bracelets are more of an afterthought and just pieced together from a price bin. This one does give you a fold-over clasp. Clicks in very nicely right there. Just push the buttons on the side to deploy it. Put it on your wrist. It does come with 3 micro adjust holes, so if you can't get a great fit using the links themselves or moving links, you can adjust these. Just put a little pin in there, and then it's got a little pin in this tube, and then you can move it to these other holes. So you can't really do it on the fly. You do need a tool to do it, but again, for $90 you're paying for this piece, you can get a good fit on this watch using this bracelet. Sorry, it's upside down there. Now this watch, as I mentioned, it is considered a sports watch. It does have Lume. You will see that the hands here do have Lume, these little sword hands, and then I don't know if you can necessarily see here. I'll see if I can zoom right in, and I'll show you in a Lume shot. Yeah, there you go. You can see really well there. at the end of these baton indices, you can see this little Lume pips. This does have Seiko's proprietary Lume Lume, which is some of the best in the business. Anybody that knows watches will, was hard pressed to dispute that. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the light box real quick so you can see what they look like, just under the lights here. This isn't even charged with like a flashlight or anything. So let me go ahead and hit that. There you go. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and turn off my overhead light here real quick. Let me put that right there. There we go. Okay. So I don't know how well it picks up in the total dark, but you can see it really does glow. You can even see some of the Seiko there. So I'm using my phone camera. I'm not using anything super fancy, but you can definitely see in the dark this thing is going to glow just beautifully, and it's going to show up real nice throughout the night. I can tell you from personal experience, this will last you throughout the morning. So if you wake up, 1 to 4 a.m. and it's still dark inside, you're going to have a real great view of the, of what time it is, just based off of that. So, I'm still tweaking how I'm doing these videos, so appreciate your patience there. I'm probably not going to go too dark like I just did there, but I wanted to give you a real good view of what the Lume looks like on this particular piece. Let me go ahead. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit there, and I'm going to show you what this looks like on wrist. I am wearing my Seiko Blue Alpinist. I'll do a video on this one some other time down the line, but let me go ahead and take this one off, and we're going to put this one on. And there we are. I do have 6.5 inch wrists. My wrists are not particularly large. I'm actually a bigger guy, but there's nothing you can really do about that, unfortunately. But as you can see, I think it just fits real nicely on there. Again, this is one where, if you want to get dressed up, want to put it in a shirt cuff, you can. If you want to go out with your friends with a beer, this can look just right at home on your wrist. There's really not too much negative I can say about this watch. I wish it had a little bit better water resistance to it. It's got 30 meters of water resistance. This is part of the Seiko 5 line. So one of the aspects of the Seiko 5 is that Seiko wanted to make sure that it was a little bit sporty, and they wanted 30 meters of water resistance. Now, that does not mean this watch will survive being submerged in 30 meters of water for an extended period of time. Water resistance means it is resistant to water, but is not waterproof. This is a watch that you can splash water on if it's raining outside. You don't necessarily have to worry about too much. If you are doing the dishes and it gets a little bit wet, that's typically okay. But this isn't one that I would submerge for any long period of time. So that is a little bit of a drawback for me, because I don't particularly like to worry about my watches. But again, if you're going to do anything that involves water, you can get in the pool and just take it off. I mean, if you've got an Apple Watch or anything like that, you would typically do that anyways. But it's really the only real big drawback that I have on this. Again, it's a $100 watch. It's got a great look to it. The case is fantastic. This is one of Seiko's best case designs, in my opinion. The bracelets, for what you're paying for this watch, the bracelet's right on point, I think. It's got its own little facets there, with the brushed links, and then it's got these polished there in the mid-link, mid-link borders, I guess you would call that. But so it's got its own little facets there. Stamped clasp, so if that's anything you're interested in. But anyways, I really just wanted to share this piece. If you're looking for a great entry-level watch, definitely recommend it. If you have any questions, any concerns, comments, things like that, please let me know. If you have any recommendations on how I can make these videos a little bit better, I don't have a ton of time. to devote to this between my 1-year-old, my 2-year-old, and my wife. This is a hobby that I started to basically see if I can convince just one of my friends to get into watches and have them suffer through the same fun disease that I have when you're addicted to watches. But I'm definitely open for any constructive criticism, because I definitely want to try to make this as entertaining and interesting as possible. Hopefully you got a good view of this piece. Hopefully, this kind of convinced you to look a little bit further into the SNKL41. There are several other variants that you are looking to as well. It comes in blue. I believe there's a black variant as well. The SNKL line is pretty extensive, so lots of different to choose from. But for this particular piece, definitely recommend it, and I hope you enjoy your afternoon. Take care. Bye-bye.